Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really big move in the world of AI. Modular, the company behind the Mojo language, has just acquired BentoML. Now, this isn't just another merger. This is a serious attempt to build a single, unified platform that takes AI from your laptop all the way to global production seamlessly. So let's dig in. Okay, so let's just dive right into this by starting with a question that, let's be honest, every single AI developer and ML engineer has wrestled with. You've built this incredible model, right? It works great on your machine, but now you have to actually make it work for the rest of the world. And that's where the real pain, the complexity, and all the hidden costs really begin. We call this huge chasm the AI inference gap. And it's basically a minefield of fragmented tools. You might use PyTorch for training, then you're struggling to convert it to ONX runtime, and then you have to write custom Triton kernels just for your specific NVIDIA GPUs, all while trying to manage a totally separate serving layer like Kserve or Rayserve. I mean, this complexity isn't just annoying, it creates this deep hardware lock-in and makes scaling a total nightmare. Now, this is the exact problem that two key companies, Modular and BentoML, were built to solve. But here's the interesting part. They approached it from completely opposite ends of the AI stack, which is exactly what makes this combination so powerful. This really frames the two philosophies perfectly. Modular, they attacked the problem from the bottom of the stack. We're talking bare metal, focusing on raw performance and hardware portability with their Mojo language and Max engine. Meanwhile, BentoML, they perfected the top of the stack, the complex, messy, real-world problem of deploying, operating, and scaling those models in the cloud. To really get modular, you have to understand its founder, Chris Lattner. This is the mind behind LLVM, Clang, and Swift. I mean, the foundational compiler infrastructure that powers pretty much every Apple device, and so much more. His entire career has been about building tools that bridge that gap between high-level languages and high-performance hardware. Modular is basically the culmination of all that work, applying modern compiler tech like MLIR to the absolute chaos of AI hardware. And on the other side, you've got BentoML, founded by Xiaoyu Yang. Their focus wasn't on compilers, but on the messy reality of deployment. They saw teams just struggling to package models, manage dependencies, and serve them reliably across all these different clouds. So they built the practical tooling, the bento box for your AI model, if you will, that teams were desperate for, so they could ship actual products, not just research papers. And their success? It's undeniable. BentoML isn't some theoretical product. It is battle-tested. This number, over 10,000 organizations, including more than 50 Fortune 500 companies, trust BentoML for their production AI. That is a massive, real-world footprint. So after working together on customer deployments and seeing how perfectly their technologies just clicked together, the two teams made it official. And look, this wasn't a random move. It's happening right as the AI inference market is exploding, and the pressure is on to build these vertically integrated platforms that can actually challenge the big established players. So what does this new unified workflow actually look like for you, the developer? Let's break it down. This quote from the announcement really gets to the heart of their whole mission. See, every single layer you add, every conversion step, every separate serving framework is a point of failure and a performance bottleneck. The goal here is to just eliminate that complexity tax, giving developers a straight line from their idea to inference. And here it is, the clean three-step workflow they're promising. Step 1, you develop in Mojo, a language that combines that familiar syntax of Python with the raw performance of C++, all built on top of MLIR. Step 2, you use the Max engine to automatically optimize that model for any hardware target, which is a big deal, unlike something like TensorRT, which is NVIDIA only. And then, step 3, you deploy the whole thing with the battle-tested BentoML platform. It's one single path from code to cloud. So what does this integration actually unlock for us? Well, first, true hardware portability. This is kind of the holy grail. You code once in Mojo, and then Max compiles it to run optimally anywhere. NVIDIA, AMD, even custom silicon, without you having to rewrite your kernels. That's how you break free from CUDA lock-in. Second, you get end-to-end performance. And finally, you get enterprise-grade control through BentoML's Bring Your Own Cloud model, which is absolutely critical for companies with strict data or security needs. Okay, so this all sounds great, but why does it really matter? Let's take a look at the impact this is going to have on developers, and really importantly, on the open source community that built BentoML in the first place. This is always the first question, right? It's on every developer's mind when a beloved open source company gets acquired. Is the project going to be abandoned? Is the license going to change? Is it going to get closed off? The answer? according to both companies, is a firm no. BentoML is going to stay under its permissive Apache 2.0 license, which means you can keep using it, modifying it, and distributing it freely. And Modular is also pointing to its own history here, having already contributed over 450,000 lines of code to open source projects, including open sourcing parts of its own Max platform. And this joint statement from both founders really drives that point home. But, while the values might align, the real test is going to be execution. Let's be real. Integrating two totally distinct code bases and company cultures is a massive technical and organizational challenge. The promise is this seamless experience, but the reality? That's going to depend on how well they can merge these two powerful platforms without breaking the things developers love about each one. So what happens now? Well, the immediate next step is an Ask Me Anything session to address all the community's questions. Then, the near-term focus is on tight, practical integrations. But the long-term play, and you can see this from their hiring plans, is the unified modular cloud. And that puts them in direct competition not just with other inference startups, but with the cloud giants themselves, AWS SageMaker, Google Vertex AI, and Azure ML. By combining best-in-class bottom-up performance with best-in-class top-down deployment, Modular and BentoML are making a really bold claim here. They're not just building a product, they're trying to build an entire ecosystem. So this leaves us with the big question. Is this finally the unified stack that can offer a credible, compelling alternative to NVIDIA's powerful but often restrictive CUDA-centric world? The race is definitely on.